All right, guys, we are here again on another Leads to Deals podcast where everything we talk about leads to deals and we talk about everything from leads to deals. I'm super stoked and excited to have a guy you probably know as like Mr. ACQ, Mr. Acquisitions, Juan Nicasio himself. He's not only a beast in phone sales, he's a great family man, father of three, and somebody that I consider a friend that I've met within this industry. And so when I think of sales professionals, I think of you, Juan Nicasio. Thanks for coming on, brother.
No, man, I really appreciate the invite. Yes, I feel the same exact way about you. We met several years ago at a real estate event, and I guess it was love at first sight.
Well, dude, it was like that too. And I was trying to remember where the very first place was that we actually met. But I know that me and you were in some like cross trainings where we were assisting people out there in the industry. And it's just like you would say stuff and I'd be like, yes, like this guy knows exactly what he's talking about, et cetera, et cetera. And so for me, that's the reason why I'm excited to get you on here, man. It's because when we have our listeners out there, I want them to understand that sales is a profession that they can be proud of, that sales is a craft that they can work towards to perfect and to increase not only just the abundance in their lives, but the abundance in those lives around them, because everything happens because a sale took place. And so for you, Juan, I want to talk a little bit about your sales journey. I want to talk about, again, how you came to fall in love with the power of communication, the power of persuasion. So let's just hop right into it, Juan. Tell me, first, let's talk about Mr. ACQ. How long have you been Mr. AC?
It's been several years now, man. I when I got into the business, that's what my main focus was acquisition sales, direct to sellers. And so in my business, that's what I used to handle. And I used to have a partner that did the dispo. And after I got into the coaching space, it was just, that's all I did was train people to acquire heavily discounted properties. Went on IG, I was like, let's change up this name because I think it was something very generic, Mr. Nicasio or something like that. I'm like, I got to brand myself. And I tried Mr. Acquisition. I think it was taken. And then I just removed until I got to the queue and it was available. I was like, Mr. Act, that's dope. And so it happened,
Yeah, that's great. One of the things, and I still want to hear the whole journey on sales, but I want to give you your flowers up front just in case we get caught up on other topics. But you said that like you coach and that you assist people out there. And one of the things that I was impressed with you in the beginning, which I didn't see a lot of and is still is rare to find, is guys who are better at actually teaching the fundamentals than than selling the fact that they're a coach. Like there's a lot of good guys who are great at selling a coach, but the actual product inside of it, you can tell they don't have sales experience. They've only done a couple of deals and now they're trying to make more money than they ever made in the REI space off of coaching than they are on actually delivering results to all these REI guys and girls out there that are trying to build their own portfolio. And so like I see a guy like you and I say, okay, if you listen, authenticity, you can hear it, you can see it. And so I want to applaud you that you're one of the most authentic, actual strategy-driven coaches in this space that I've had the opportunity to meet.
I appreciate that, my man. That means a ton coming from you, big dog.
Well, dude, I was thinking about it. It's really a lot of things that happen for us happen because we came from other industries and we were able to apply it. And so like I meet guys and gals and when they say, hey, listen, if it was back in the day, maybe they sold Xerox or they sold Kirby Vacuum or they were door-to-door solar. Like those principles, when you come into this space, it really helps you dominate. And that's why I see this as such a fractured market, because I don't know what the percentage of wholesalers or REI investors are, but most of them get their start buying off of retail. So they don't have sales experience. And so it's wildly different buying from a realtor than it is direct to seller. And so guys like me and you, we were either B2C or B2B, and we cut our teeth in harder products. So coming in here and bringing those principles over is really what made us who we are today. So I think you got your journey first. What was your first sales job?
It was in insurance. I used to be a licensed insurance agent for the state of Florida, and it was B2C. I had to go literally door knock, right? And that was harsh.
And so what type of insurance though?
It was life insurance.
Life insurance, yeah, that is.
So I had to talk to people about death all day.
And in that industry too, like, do you pay for your leads or you're given your leads?
At the beginning, I used to work for a brokerage, and they used to get leads right through sweepstakes and God knows what else they were funneling through, and then you just need to cold call, set appointments, cold call, set appointments, cold call, set appointments.
Yeah, one of the things that I appreciate about that is it's a product that like everybody needs, but nobody wants to talk about. And everybody always thinks that like life is fine. It's a really tough product to sell from my perspective, just because it's the number one thing to put on the back burner, life insurance. Because everybody in the moment, it's not until you're sick that you think about it, and the majority of people don't have that crisis in their life. And so for you to go into somebody's house knowing, and listen, this is what I love about sales with good products, is you can be paid handsomely and help people at the same time. And so that's one of those products where the customers don't really appreciate it, and they'll never almost ever realize the benefits of it. Like the fact that their children are able to receive money when they pass, they'll never get to see that, but you're helping them with that type of thing. And sometimes you got to put pressure on people to help. And so if you did that, then you have sales skills. How long were you doing insurance?
I did that for 10 years.
10 years in the state of Florida.
Yeah, in the state of Florida, and then I did do nationwide sales for insurance because I got pushed into this call center environment. So I had to sell like prescription drug plans to Medicare recipients nationwide. It was through a large Fortune 500 company, but it was like boiler room style, like phone is just going. So that helped me develop the skill set I needed to do the same thing that I do with people. Because, you know, when you meet me, it's like very genuine. I'm like down to earth. Hey, how you doing? I make you feel warm and fuzzy. Like as soon as you meet me, I was like, damn, I'm not going to appointments anymore. So that trick doesn't work, right? Because I can door knock. You see my face. I have a nice smile. You fall in love, right? And that's the truth. I want to be very transparent. It is what it is, right? I know my worth. I know what I got. I know my skill set, right? So I'm like, how do I do that over the phone? So I had to acquire that same like tonality and like breaking through the mold of like, who are you? And that wall that people put, and that helped me because I had to do hundreds and hundreds of calls daily.
How long were you face to face before you pivoted to over the phone sales?
It's only like 2 years.
Okay.
And then I pivoted all phone sales.
For me, I was face to face for like 12 years before I pivoted to phone sales. And so that transition was very tough for me because similar to you, like I'm also an animated guy as well. When I'm speaking, I use my hands a lot. I'm really good at reading body language. I'm really good at doing like power pauses and inquisitive looks and like really being able to say so much with saying so little. And so I had honed it in, and I also learned how to be hyper aggressive face to face with a smile on my face, so that way I could drive the conversation. And there's no really way to like hang up on somebody face to face. In theory, yes, they can get up from the table. In theory, yes, they can, completely shut you down. But the reality is you can say what you want with a smile on your face, ladies and gentlemen. And so when I got to the phones, I was still that same reckless, harsh, coarse driver. And then I found this thing called doo-doo-doo, and I was just getting clicked and clicked and clicked and clicked because I felt like a jerk instead of just being a guy who was like really a passionate believer in his product. And so for you, when you first got on the phones, did you have any struggles? And then how long did you suck before you're like, all right, this is going to work?
It took me like 6 months of like, damn, these people just keep hanging up. And then you get demotivated. So I feel for the folks that are at call centers doing phone calls, or, people in our industry in the wholesale real estate where they're getting a whole bunch of F you, leave me alone, then never answer. And you're just going through it daily and daily and daily, just try to get that deal. I feel for them. But it's a training. Like I can train that. It's something that you're doing in the introduction that will change absolutely everything with everyone. And so it took me like 6 months of going through that. The team, thankfully, they were a Fortune 500 company. So they had sales trainers, they had the sales meetings, they had all of that, quality control. So they're like listening to calls, whisper mode. So that helped a lot, right? So it was a little bit of a cheat sheet there because I had the support, but it did take me like 6 months to finally, boom, start getting that rhythm and then consistently closing deals. And then I got moved to different departments to sell, even better products and stuff like that. But it took that long, you know?
Yeah. And so for the guys and gals that are listening, it's like, hey, man, here's a wildly successful guy who now helps other people be successful in sales. And as Zig Ziglar said, he said, nobody is born a salesperson. Like nobody's born a doctor. Nobody. This is something that you pick up and you practice on, but 6 months of getting your teeth kicked in. And then we all have these really beautiful memories of ourselves. So it was probably closer to a damn year, you know, like before it really kicked in. At least that's how it is for myself. And so I see a guy like you and it's like, that was boot camp. And you even had a support system, but that was boot camp. And so my biggest thing for these guys and gals here, because for those of you watching who don't know too much, like I'm sitting in a 12,000 square foot call center here. We have 200 and some agents out here. And my biggest thing is helping them feel comfortable with the no's. Because what it's going to do for your life, if you choose sales, you're going to get comfortable with rejection at a level that 99% of the population can't handle. And once you get comfortable with that, then you're okay with the resistance that comes with life, because it ain't just people on the phone that's going to tell you no. It's going to be people that are standing in the way of your goals, people that are standing in the way of you having the ideal life and benefiting for your family. And so that's why I love sales, because it gave me a mental workout that I didn't know I needed, but it definitely leveled me up and built confidence, because first you have no phone confidence, then you have real phone confidence, then you have communication confidence, and then you as a human, you're just wildly more confident. And so guys like me and you, it's like that pain brought us the joy that we have today.
And I'll tell you the truth, dude. Like, it's not that I'm a natural sales guy. I absolutely hated it. I did the work because I had to.
Amen.
I had to. It was either I was going to do that or I was going to work, you know, doing some administrative shit, and I would have been bored as heck. My life would have been super freaking miserable. So I was sort of, you know, God has a way of doing his thing, and he's going to put you in certain places. A lot of those places may be extremely uncomfortable, and you don't even understand how you got there or why you're there. But if you trust and you just keep going, you start to see that. And then obviously, because I stuck with it, boom, I started getting that communication aspect, being able to be personable, being able to help people. And that's one thing though. I was born with a natural gift of loving people. So I like people.
So I wouldn't say I was born with that natural gift, a desire to love on and help people, but I had a quote that turned me into that guy. And it's another Zig Ziglar quote. And it was, if you help enough people get what they want out of life, you can have everything that you want out of life. Sure. And so I attacked helping other people selfishly, and I'm okay with it. It's like, okay, cool. Well, then let me plant all these seeds by helping other people have a better beneficial life. And then that will return it for me. And it's true. And so for you guys and gals out there who aren't like that, it's like you're paying into the universe, the sales wheel, whatever you want to call it out there, but you're paying into it by helping other people. And that's why having a quality product matters, because there's a lot of scam phone rooms out there. There's a lot of really scummy industries out there. That has no length of time, because it all catches up to you. You need to find a product out there that you can believe in. That way you can be forceful with it and push people through to it. And so I've been blessed to never let greed take me down a crappy product, because once you're good at sales, you can sell a lot of stuff out there. It's just a matter of making sure you're getting monetized for doing the good things in your life that you want to do.
When you have a high moral ethic,
yes,
right, and want to do the right thing for people, it becomes so much easier, right, with a good product. And
yep.
and just like yourself, there was plenty of things that after I learned this gift of persuasion and communication, sales, that shit's deadly. Like, people don't understand how deadly that can be. You guys watch the Wolf of Wall Street and a whole bunch of other movies where they're pushing non-ethical products, and people will fall for it consistently, and they will always. A sucker is born every second.
Yeah. And the unfortunate part too is, and And a lot of people who listen to this who are in some of those kind of borderline gray or even dark industries, they know that the consumer out there who buys the one bad thing keeps on buying. There's a lot of consumers out there who have a neurological problem with saying no. And so one of the things, even if you're selling a good product, the easiest way to detect a person has a neurological problem where they can't say no is because they say no right out of the gates. It's like when somebody's defenses are, you know what, I'm not going to buy any insurance today. Juan, nice to meet you. You can come on into my house. You know immediately, like, got him, because this guy knows that he can't stop saying yes. Like his defense systems are so much. So for a guy like you, again, when did you first consider when did you first consider you were a sales professional? Like you were a closer? Like when that light bulb go off that you were going to be able to feed your family for the rest of your days because of your art of communication?
Once I left that company, I actually started my own insurance brokerage.
Nice.
So now it's like, well, there's no corporate America to back me up, right? Like I've closed enough deals. I can do this now on my own. Obviously, it's still scary because there is no backing. You're starting from zero, right? Yep. You're building a company, and now you're trying to, model where you came from, right? As far as corporate America and that structure, and now going into your own business, that shit's scary as heck because you're the one responsible for marketing. You're the one responsible for employees. You're the one responsible to bring home the bacon. There's nobody that's going to save you. HR is not going to give you a severance package. You're not going to have any benefits. Like, this is all you, right? And so at that point, I just had to man up. I was probably like 25 years old. And so, yeah, I built that business to over 400 client book of business. It was a personal book of business for out, and that was pretty big. I was a one-man show.
Yeah, so that's a big number. Let me ask you, how was it when you left that office? How were the colleagues? Did you get a lot of people that were like, hey bro, this isn't for you? Or everybody was kind of supportive when you walked out?
No, I mean, cause it was such a large place. They had to been like over 200-300 people. And so you didn't really build too much relationship. I was zoned in my own thing. At 25, I was already starting a family. So I can't deal with like, you know what I mean? Like none of that. So no, I really didn't have any pushback. I think I've been blessed where a lot of folks do have believed in me and do believe in me and see like this tremendous power in me. And that's helped me a lot to push forward because I don't really have people telling me, yo, you suck, or hey, your game is weak or whatever it is. I don't really have that. And so I've been blessed in that aspect. So I just keep pushing forward. Do I fail? Heck yeah. I failed plenty because that business failed at some point.
Yeah. And so let me ask you, was that at your previous job prior to you going out on your own, did you have a salary there? Was it salary plus commission? Or was it commission?
Yeah, salary plus commission. So it was comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. And so then going out on your own, and this is what I share with these kids. I literally talked about it coming into Christmas right now, because I was 20 years old once too. And so I would get nice paychecks and then blow it all and those types of things. My maturity didn't match the opportunity until I was a little bit later in life, obviously. But one of the best things that ever happened to me is at 20 years old, when I started my professional sales career, was the last time so I guess at 20, because I turned 21 when I started, but was the last time I got an actual paycheck. Everything since then, for the past 22, 23 years now, has been distributions or commissions. And it was always commissions up until I owned my own company. And that right there, man, there was a lot of really scary times in that time frame. And so, but it forced me to grow unlike anything else. And so the same thing I'm sure with you, even through the ups and downs of having your own thing, it's like when you are solely and exclusively, and there is no safety net available, it forces you to hone your skills.
Oh yeah, I mean, your back's against the wall, and it sucks that as humans that sometimes that's what we need to get in order for us to grow. I wish it would just, we would be a lot less stubborn and really hone in when we're in the good times as well, like really stay hyper focused in self-development and things of that nature. But sometimes that's not, that's just not how we are built. So yeah. My back has been against the wall since the day of birth, bro. I don't come from a, golden spoon or any of that. Come from a single parent. It's been a grind, right? And now I have a family, and so I continue to grind even harder than before.
For your sales mentors, as you were having your own company, did you rely on like books more so than actual people in your life? Like, where did you start to kind of build your education from? Was it people or books?
Both,
Both.
right? So the University of Life, number
Amen.
one. And then number two, I've had some mentors along the way. And then as of the last, like, and believe it or not, I'm a late bloomer when it comes to entrepreneurship to this level and like self-development. About 3.5 years ago, right after COVID, dude, I hit rock bottom. I hit
Yeah.
rock bottom,
Understood.
sold the company. We broke the partnership, and I'm like, damn, I got to do something more. And so I poured into self-development. So I started doing the books. I started doing the courses. I started, just getting the mentorship that I needed for my mental clarity. And then like magic, just started taking a lot of those experiences that are in those books and in the mentorship to change my mindset. And that changed absolutely everything.
Yeah, it's like they say, you put the good stuff in, you get the good stuff out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about real estate, man. A lot of our followers out here, they're looking to get into the either wholesaling or investing space, etc. How did you get into your first deal? How did you find out about this industry? Because I was in my own world and I just found out about it 4 years ago. So how did you find out about it?
So I've been 9.5 years now in the real estate space. And again, nothing happens by accident. The insurance business failed not because of my own doing, more so because of government policies. And so that changed my business literally overnight. And so I had met a gentleman through my church. We did like one of these mastermind fellowship meetings every Saturday. It was like a businessman church thing.
Yeah.
And I, at that point I had expressed to him, I'm like, dude, in my business is not doing so well. I got to figure out, what else I'm going to go ahead and do, because this is not going to work out. That, my commissions are slashed by 90%. I can't sustain the business. And so he's like, dude, I do this thing on the side. If you want to go ahead and give this a try, you can make $5,000 a deal, is what he said. I'm like, shit, okay. Let's give it a try. He gives me this like, I don't know. It was like like a stack of papers like this, old leads that he's been like driving for dollars, or he had paid for some mailers or something like that. And he was doing that part-time because he had a full-time business. So he's like, if you call those, because I don't really have the time to call all the time, and you find the deal, I'll teach you the game. I'll teach you like how to acquire, real estate deals, and we can make, $5,000 to $10,000 a deal.
Yeah. Loved it.
I'm like, all right, let's try it. So, bro, I pounded the phones for like 3 months on this old ass list. And we're going to go full circle later on in regards to that. Pounding this list, dude, that's old as dirt. It's not like I'm getting new leads every day or none of that. It was just this list. And 3 months later, we find a deal in Liberty City, Miami, Florida. Put it on the contract for 40 grand. The lady wanted 60, got her down to 40, and we sold it for 65.
Excellent.
We sold it for 65. So there was like, I think there was a JV or something like that.
Yep.
So sure enough, he gives me a check for $5,000. I was like, what? This is dope. Like, I almost gave up though in the 3 months. I'm like, I can't keep calling. I got a family to feed. I can't keep calling and not get a deal. We would drive for dollars every Friday. And that's the only thing that we did. We didn't really have a lot of marketing dollars or anything to pour into that. And dude, boom, that fueled the fire. As soon as I got that first deal, I was like, all right, this is real. Let's go.
Yeah, proof of concept. I love what you said, though, because one of the things that I appreciate growing up, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and, my parents, my mom got her GED. Dad didn't graduate high school, come from a family of roofers. I was just destined to use my hands. Like there's nothing about me should be where I'm at and where we're at today, at least based on the lineage. And I just remember thinking like, man, if I would have known about this when I was a kid, I wouldn't have done so many dumb things. And there's so many kids out there right now that are literally driving around with felonies in the back seat or tucked away in the car. They're selling drugs. They're doing all these types of things. And it's like, oh, I can make 5K and the total spread was 25K, or me and my boys can chop up 25K once a month. It's more, and there's no felony time, and there's no worries, and you can stop looking out of your rear view mirror, and you're going to put the same amount of time into the game. And it's just like, I wish men and women out there really understood this in the States. Like, hey man, you don't have to do that stupid stuff. You're already driving past the crack houses. You're already driving past the stash houses. Those things need to be flipped, baby. We just need to get the owners and get them on the phone. So I think it's similar to, it's like, hey man, we didn't have much. So we literally had to go the raw dog way, which is driving for dollars and calling ages old pieces of paper. But I was able to create money from nothing.
Literally thin air. And so we rinse and repeated that process for a while. It's not like, oh yeah, we got $5,000. Let's go ahead and pour it into marketing and cold calling and things like that. That didn't even exist. All we did was mail and drive for dollars. But just kind of that fueled everything, and it was a rinse and repeat at that point. Now I knew it was real. And then towards that end of that year, I was like, nope, we're gonna do this thing full time, because I had already built my own brokerage, my own business, so I can do this thing all over again. Yep. And I know the call center route, I know the calling route, I know the direct to homeowner, phone game. Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing, because we used to do a lot of appointments, tons of appointments, driving everywhere in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, driving to do appointments. And I was like, nah, that's not how we're going to do things.
Yeah. And listen, the industry changes so much. Let's fast forward a little bit more towards present time. Now, like, I met you because we share like mutual clients off and on throughout the year, where you're providing coaching services to a smaller team or to a team. You're helping guys level up their REI business, getting them more established. And then I cross paths with them because I'm selling them leads or data or whatever. Either they're going to synergydata.io or they're going to lamasuleads.com for call center services. And we've crossed paths, but I've noticed like a couple of things about the industry since I first met you. And obviously the market's up and down. One of the biggest things is I saw how many entry-level people become players during the hedge fund craze, who I don't even know what they're doing today. Like, I saw it lift so many people out of the trenches, and then they just couldn't recuperate. So what's your perspective on all these guys who are overly hedge fund reliant, if not exclusive hedge fund? And what have you seen from your perspective?
Yeah, those guys are going to drown.
Have you seen them drowning? Have you seen them go off to the
wayside? Drowning. There's a lot less people in the market right now.
Yeah.
A lot less, because they didn't hone in on the craft. They didn't really understand how to play the game the real way, where you have to actually do sales. Oh my God. Not just put everything on the contract and hope that the hedge funds will, pay retail for it. That's an easy game to play. And I'm not hating on that. Like, if you came up because it was that easy, that's dope. I hope you were able to invest right back into your company, into your skill set, so that you can really create a sustainable business, because now it's not that game anymore. This is where you're gonna know the boys from the men.
Yeah, it's all about sales skills, man. It's because back when I watched it, and I didn't know any better because I just came up into it, and I was like, oh, this is great. All of a sudden, I was in here like a year before. So going back 4 years when I very first started paying a little attention to the industry. But then all of a sudden, hedge funds got crazy about a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, that during that time frame. It was bonkers. And I was just like, man, all these guys and gals they're literally just having conversations to a contract. They're not building extreme value. They're not getting reductions. They don't have processes, but they're still able to make some money. And it's great because the hedge funds are buying at retail, the wholesalers are getting it just a smidgen below retail. And then after it, then reality sets in. It's like, oh my God, how do I make an offer at somebody at 50% of what they're asking for? And how do I have the skill set to be able to deliver that amount of value? And so I know that's something that you guys train on, is building that rapport. And I think you called it you have like a 7-step offer technique or something like that. Is that kind of like a straight line technique? What is your 7-step offer?
I took a lot of the straight line, right? John Martinez, Mr. ACQ, and I made like this Frankenstein proven like system where it's almost damn near guaranteed to get you everything that you need, right? And that massive discount. and that massive discount, which is the most important, right?
And so do your 7 steps start at like hello and then end at signature? Exactly. Okay, great. So you're walking them through the whole process, not just the offer side of the process.
This is correct. Correct.
Yeah,
So,
I think. Go ahead.
So the premise of that is, and I train everybody the same exact way. I'm like, on a piece of paper, you're gonna write who, what, where, when, why, how.
Mm.
And until you don't have those questions answered, you ain't got a deal.
Amen. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think too, one of the things I've noticed, and again, we've crossed paths a couple of times, is when you get the guys who have been doing it themselves, they're great at, they're able to get a couple of deals. And then now they want to outsource, whether it's to guys like me or to even their own internal team, and they don't know how to inspect. They don't really have the KPIs down. And more importantly, they don't have time to inspect, or they don't understand the importance of it, and they just expect. And now we all have heard the thing, people don't do what you expect, they do what you inspect. And they won't even listen to calls. And so one of the things I've been proud of you, and I know that you spend a lot of time on with your students, is actually listening to their calls, actually showing them how to audit KPIs. So how important is that to you and your model for these guys?
That's what's made my business that successful. So having ran my own business and doing acquisitions and marketing and stuff, I knew the importance of that. And once I stopped doing, once I broke off from the partnership, I actually fell into the whole coaching thing almost by accident. I would say that, but God always has his plan.
Yeah.
A marketing company like yours called me and says, hey, I have this client who hasn't closed the deal in 6 months. Jesus. And I know that my leads are good, but if you can go in there and just kind of tell me what your feedback is, because I know that you're a closer, that would be greatly appreciated. And then I can maybe make some tweaks in my business and provide my clients with better quality, or figure out where is that I'm dropping the ball. I said, sure, dude, let's give it a try. I spoke to the owner of that company, and he was like very fucking arrogant. Like, no, the leads suck and da-da-da. Dude, in a week and a half, I had 3 solid contracts locked in, right? Nice. And he's like, how the F did you do that? And I'm like, well, I actually made the calls. I looked at the numbers. I had a conversation, and I converted the deal. Like, That's what I did. And I listened to the calls. I'm like, look, listen to this call from your guy. There's nothing here. He said he was going to call back. He didn't even get this information. We don't even know if the house is in good shape, not in good shape. We didn't even get an asking price from the seller. Dude, what the hell are we doing? Right? And so that's what started that. And then the dude that needed the help, the marketer, he's like, dude, can you do that for like a lot of my clients? I was like, sure, right? Let's do it. And so that's how my business started. But it's so important because nobody's really doing it. We get, as business owners, and delegating this stuff out to our floor, right? Yep. Sales floor. We get so inundated with, I got to talk to the marketing person, and then I got a meeting in the morning, and I have to go to a showing. I got to go do an inspection on the house, and this closing is fucking falling apart. So sometimes they don't even have time to do it, but they forget that they're spending all this money on marketing, on employment, on, systems and all this other stuff, that the key is to make sure that is well spent and well utilized. And so a lot of leads, good or bad, go to die because no one's auditing a damn thing. No one's doing the consistent training. And so that's why my business has exploded, because I show them that I'm in there doing it in the trenches with these guys every single day, looking at these opportunities, and I find them every single time. Bro, this is a deal. Bro, you should have said this. Guys, what are we doing here? Right? Where is the follow? Oh man, I forgot to do the task. I forgot to do the notes. I forgot to give them a call. I'm like, bro, you guys don't have systems, processes, tasks. What's going on here? Who's holding you guys accountable? And so like, well, it's the leads and the this. And I'm like, nah, full of shit. When you dive deep in there, you'll find them. It's not the leads. It ain't the leads.
It's a problem at even the highest level. Like, I'm really blessed with the call center to have a really high avatar client. And one of the biggest guys I have, obviously I won't name drop them because it's not the CEO's fault, it's the agents, but they're in California, and California's got really tough or really favorable to the tenant laws. So it's really tough. And so as a policy, they don't buy any homes that have renters in them. And so we live transferred to them, and I was listening, auditing a couple spot audits. I love spot audits. It's randomized, just boom, listen. And I listened to this one live transfer, and the guy takes the lead. He opens it up pretty quickly, and the guy mentions like, oh, hey, I have tenants in here, so I don't know when you could come and schedule a walkthrough. And the guy's like, immediately, the affiliate, immediate closer's like, hey, unfortunately, we just don't purchase homes without or with tenants in it, and blah, 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 blah. So thank you so much. Have a nice day. Never read the notes, never did any discovery. Tenant was moving out this month, will be vacant, is tired of dealing with tenants in the landlord's side. It was like the ideal situation. Like the guy knew all the pains that he was talking about. The guy was ready to leave. The tenants had already done everything to be exiting the property. And it's just that matter of that agent didn't spend that money for the lead. And that's why when we were talking about insurance back in the beginning, it's like, another thing is if that every scenario you've talked about, or if the actual sales agent had to pay for the lead, do you know how much differently that they would treat that lead? If that was their $375 or $110, it's a game changer.
You know what I do now? I tell my client, anytime they drop the ball, let's just say they have the next closing, you're going to deduct the cost per lead.
That would change behavior instantly.
And then another rule is like if you put something on the contract and I got to go in there and renegotiate it because you didn't follow my sales script and you didn't follow the framework, you didn't find out these details, and now the seller has a completely different expectation, right? Mm-hmm. Your commission's divided in half. How about that? Right away, things could change, right? Because there's no sense in putting things on the contract, setting wrong expectations, locking things up too high. Just like we spoke about the whole hedge fund thing, those things are gone. And now what are you doing? You're working backwards. You're looking terrible in front of the seller and as a company, right? Because you're not a person of your word. I didn't know. Thing is, every moving piece costs money. So if I have to get an inspector out there, if I have to, get the buyers out there, if I have to go ahead and do a whole dispo process, I have to order photos. I spent all this money, and the root cause of why that deal's not going to move was because of the acquisition person. Bro, you owe us money.
Yep. Yeah, listen, if you can get the buy-in on that's tremendous. I wanted to get your opinion on this. One of the things that I noticed, I believe that this industry has, the REI wholesaling space particularly, has an issue with is what I call a maybe problem. They have all these people that they have pitched or presented an offer to that they're just hoping come back. It's almost like a be back problem. And so they'll be like, and this, I've never seen an industry ever that's as crazy about how they talk about money. They're like, yeah, I got a deal today. It's like, did they sign a contract? No, but they said they were going to. Or then they get a contract and they're like, just locked up a $40K deal. And it's like, has it been assigned yet? No. Okay, it was assigned. Has it been funded yet? Oh, no. And so it's this weird industry out here where hope equals revenue to a bank, and no one can seem to make that connection. And so you have these guys out there that their CRM is junked full of possibilities versus I'd rather them be too strong. And I always say you'll lose more deals by not being strong enough than you'll ever lose by being too strong. So it's always to your benefit to be harder of a closer than it is to be a softer of a closer. So I just wanted your opinion, and maybe my thoughts are different, but how do you think about all that?
I'm a quality versus quantity guy. And so a deal is not a deal until it's closed and funded. You know how many times I've celebrated deals under contract and even assigned deals under contract, and for it to fall apart at closing? You have no idea the amount of deals. Yep. And so, there's no celebration. It's like, you got it on the contract, get another one. You got it on the get another one, right? Because you have to have an average of a fallout rate, right? Like, stuff is going to fall apart. So you can't be celebrating a $40,000 deal that you don't have. It hasn't been materialized. So don't celebrate that. Celebrate when that shit's closed and funded, and go get more quality deals, right?
How are you helping your students now with some of the different exit strategies, them understanding that, whether it be in having to do more creative or potentially stepping into novations or just better anchoring their wholesale? Like, what are you currently seeing right now in the market as of effectively Q1 2024?
So I've been a solution-based closer.
Amen.
From the beginning. Remember, my code of ethics and morals are pretty high, right? I never want to screw anybody out of an opportunity or a seller or whatever it is. And so I've always really listened to what's behind there. What's the real root of the problem, and what is it that really needs to be solved? What is it that the seller really needs that they're not telling you? How can we figure that out? And then put in that solution. So it's not like cash hammer, cash hammer, cash hammer, cash hammer. I've been doing sub twos. I've been doing novation deals. I've been doing the cash deals for a very long time. This is not like, oh, I heard this buzzword novation. I heard this buzzword owner finance. No, I figured out very early, like, there's different solutions to this thing. They can't be just a cash hammer. Like, how can I, for me, it was always like, how do I monetize this lead to the max? Heck, even though I am not a realtor, why don't I just pitch a listing to this person? That's the best route for this seller.
Yes.
And so in my my consultancy, I train all of the acquisitions to find the root of the problem and find the best solution for that specific seller, client, prospect. And then let's pitch that. I don't need to pitch 5,000 things. I may pitch 2 exit strategies.
Yeah.
So that's been the key. So it's not anything new. It's not the market's changing or whatever it is. It's been the same for me for forever. And that's what's made me successful and allowing me to do so many deals and train so many people to elevate their sales skills, right? And closings and conversions. And so, yes, now we have to use other strategies because the market's a little different. But I am coaching them on all those new exit strategies of buzzwords that have been around for a very long time, helping them with the right contracts, helping them with the right conversations, the right expectations, and then helping them understand like why this exit strategy makes a little bit more sense for the company than just doing the cash hammer and then putting it on follow-up and maybe never do the deal. You have no idea how many times I go into people's CRM and I go back to a deal that they said was a dead deal. There was no equity. There was no way to make money. And that person sold the property for close enough from 100%. Their actual offer, which was like, oh my God, missed opportunity all the time. Yeah. I get the business owner to be on the training with me so they can see the pain.
Yes. Yeah. We do a lot of nurture in people's CRMs in our call center business where they do effectively that. They hire us to go back through their old leads. And one of the values to it is showing people how many deals have sold their house since then. And it, like you said, it's mind blowing how many close deals that they had. They just didn't follow up with. They abandoned it because the closers would rather work something new than that it's a couple that's aged or whatever. And so for you right now to focus on the lead side of the leads to deals, what are you seeing out there as like some lead channels? What do you prefer? Let's talk about the entry level guys out there. What do you suggest if somebody came up to you, like, hey man, I heard your podcast. I want to get into this space. I got a little bit of cash. I don't have much, but where are you sending them? Like what marketing channel are you putting them through? And what are you seeing work maybe even a little bit more at scale?
If they're new, cold calling and driving for dollars. That's it.
Yeah.
If you're brand new, your text messaging is dead, in my personal opinion.
Yep.
There's too much regulation. That's a full-time job within itself to even try to get the volume that you need on the text messaging. So I'm not messing with it. Cold calling literally is where it's at. Literally.
To me, I think it's where it's at more importantly, or just as important, because of the skill set that it'll teach you as you go through it. And so, yes, you should eventually bolt on PPC, but it's very different if you start PPC and try to bolt on cold call. If you start cold call, you can bolt on any other channel out there.
That's correct. I think that if you need to master the craft first on the lower level or less cost effective marketing before you start doing the PPC, because you're going to fail. You're literally going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to run out of money.
Yeah.
That's worse.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you can really get your hand slapped in PPC too. For you, and even things that aren't your technical expertise, such as loading page speed on your website. There's a lot of things out there where cold call, if you're
People have no clue.
yeah. So in regards to just giving some last little advice before we wrap it up, for you, you get to see a lot of the guys out there that are getting more established, right? And they maybe have a smaller team. What are some of the things that you see and that you were just like, hey, if they worked on these couple of nuggets, they'd really be able to progress faster for 2024?
Sure. So as of late, it's been more so automation,
Yep.
right? Having the, I guess a newer technology than using your old school Podio that you've decked out and continue to, you know, pound your brain on, and it never works. So definitely upgrading your CRM with a lot of automation for both customer relationship management, which is the real, why CRMs are created, real relationship management, and also for accountability on your salespeople, right? Because I'm adopting a lot of the automation with our CRM where it literally holds the salesperson accountable. I have it even to the point where it automatically dials the seller at the time of the task. So that has been a major game changer there. And then, these guys, you have to review your KPIs. You have to lock those things in. The money's in the numbers and the data and the information. And follow up, right? More so than anything else. And then being obviously flexible and agile on having more than one exit strategy. Those are the two things right now that I can tell any business owner, whether you're beginning or you've been in the game for a while. And I've seen a lot of top tier people, and I work with a lot of top tier people, and you have no idea the amount of work that I have to do to fix those things and smooth things out. But consistent training with the salesperson, update your CRM, add automations, add technology to this thing, branding, and just more exit strategies. Don't be a one-trick pony.
Yeah, it's kind of two of the qualifiers before I take somebody on over here. Is I want to know, do they have drip sequencings already built out and how robust that is, and then how many exit strategies they have. I'll give some game on how I consider drip sequencing. I think this industry is really good at the no contact drip sequencing. Okay, they've been in the CRM for 1 day, send them this message, 3 days, send them this message, 7 days, send them this. But like this whole industry is focused on I can't reach them, so I will follow up with them. Brilliant, great. But I think the more valuable drip sequencing is on your terminated leads that people told you I'm not interested in anymore, that you no way I'd sell for that price. Go screw yourself. I don't want to sell. I want to sell with the realtor. I'm going to work with this other wholesaler. The terminated drip sequencing.
Oh, yeah.
That right there is where the money is at in this industry, because everybody, and again, this is industry specific, but in this industry, I feel like everybody's like, oh, they told me no, I've killed this lead, therefore it must be dead forever. It's time, it's circumstance.
No clue how true that is. I mean, that's why you're saying it, right? The definition of a dead lead for some people is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And I'm like, hell, you know what my definition of dead? They literally sold last month.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's confirmed sold. Like not that they told me that it's sold. I'm like going to public record and I see the deed has been transferred.
Yeah.
It's sold. Okay, dead lead, right? Otherwise, no one doesn't live here anymore and they died. Great. Yeah. That's a probate lead. I'm going to go skip trace that thing and I'm going to find out who is inheriting this piece of property.
Yep.
Where is this property going?
Yep. Couldn't agree more. And again, you paid so much for the lead.
I don't get it.
You just can't burn it. In the very beginning, you were talking about your first deal and you said there was something later. We may circle back to it. Before we shut it down, I'm just curious, what was that thing?
85% of the deals are done on fucking follow-up. That's why I kept calling the stupid list over and over for 3 months. And I got the stupid deal. The lady's been in that list for 1.5 years. She's gotten called from me 10,000 times.
Yes.
And I finally got her, and I got a $15,000 assignment because I kept doing the follow-up on an old, nasty list. It was just old. There's nothing there. Nothing there.
Dude,
So that's full circle.
it doesn't take much to get started, but once you get started, you got to keep your foot on the gas pedal in this industry for sure. You know, I watch a lot of guys, they'll have a good month and then they'll kind of take their foot off the marketing dollars. Even December, like, and I understand the logic. It's just, I've never been a fan of it. Like, I have people are like, hey, listen, it's December. Our answer rates are a little bit lower, so we're going to pull back on the marketing. And then I see the other guys who are like, dude, I need to have a gangbusters January 2nd. Like, as soon as my guys walk into the office after New Year's Eve day or New Year's Day, like, they need to come in. I need leads in there. And it's like, you can just tell the race horses from the ones that you just ride around, you know, like, it's those guys who are relentless, constantly on the gas pedal. Those are the guys who are scaling.
I wish that people understood pipelines and how
Amen.
full you need to maintain that at all times. You
Yes.
can't have, 10 people in your pipeline that are hot and you close those 2 deals, and then you're going to wait until those 2 deals close so you can pay for more marketing and then try to fill up that pipeline again. And that doesn't make sense. I went into fourth quarter telling people, all of my clients, I said, what we're going to do now is that we're going to put the foot all the way through this pedal.
Yes.
And we're going to get more marketing channels. We are going to do the most of the most. And we're going to fill this up. Why? Because when you come in January, we're not starting fresh so that you can have a weak first quarter to catch up second quarter. And then you're just playing catch up all the time. No, get everything that you need, put shit on the contract, extend it 60 days, 90 days if you have to, but the deals are in the pipeline, like they're closing, so that when January comes along, you got more deals that you're going to put on the contract for that month. So instead of just having the 5, now you have freaking 10 for the month of January because you didn't put your foot off the throttle.
So what is the best way, though, for like people to learn a little bit more about how you can elevate their business, how you can help hold them and their sales team accountable for KPIs, how you can provide them additional training, giving them a different outlet perspective, assist them with their nurture campaigns, like all the things that you do. And if I missed anything, for sure, add it in there, but to help them be a little bit more inspired, be a little bit more dedicated to inspecting their results, and then get some additional outside training. Like how do people find out more about how to get this process started with you?
Yeah, so just the main, avenue for me is through my IG. So if you follow me at Mr. ACQ on IG, I do have a link in the bio for you guys to go, learn a little bit about what I do, how I can help. You can book a call. I'm going to be rolling out for 2024 something like damn near plug and play, because it's been such a eye-opening situation with all of these different companies, especially in the real estate, even for realtors, in the automations, in the lead follow-up, in the sales, the acquisition side of things, that they just can't wrap their heads around. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to build it. I'm going to build it for everyone. I'm going to create a template, and I'm going to go ahead and coach everyone on specifically how this needs to be done. Plug and play, done for you.
Great.
And so if you follow me on IG, see that development coming, reach out to me. You have any questions, I'm an open book. As you can see, Scott, I really appreciate you, inviting me into this space, because I know that it's needed. I know that your heart is in the right place. You want to see success for your clients. You want to see success for your internal employees, for your business, for your family, and for the people that are just watching, adding free value. And so we appreciate you in the space, my man.
Thank you. I appreciate that as well. I think my biggest thing is sales changed my life. Like it literally gave me the life that I wanted and needed. And I didn't have any other outlets. Like I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I didn't go to college and didn't do some of these more traditional based things. And then when I found this career, I was like, wait a minute, I can use my mouth to make so much money, and it's like a power of persuasion and really just the art of communication. It's a beautiful tool to have and to master. And so when I see so many of these young men and women out there, I think it's something that if somebody's listening to us, and it doesn't have to be real estate, it doesn't have to be whatever, but once you can master sales, it really opens up almost every other door that you could need to have open for you in your career.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'll wrap up with this. I mean, again, your audience is awesome. I appreciate everything that you do. I appreciate you inviting me here. So for whoever is listening to this, whether now or in the future, if you follow me, right, and you send me a DM, I'll give you my sales script, my 7-step $1 million freaking script for free. I'll just send it to you.
Wow.
Give me your email. And I'll just get it over to you because it's going to change everything that you do. You have no idea the hundreds of thousands of dollars that thing is going to make you. I have not seen a script better than mine in the industry. And trust me, I read all of them. I create scripts for all types of different situations, inbound, outbound, cold call, whatever.
Yes.
Hit me up. So.
Boom, you can't do it's Christmas time, so that's a great Christmas gift no matter when you hear this. And just so you guys, by the numbers, he's done about 60 million in real estate transactions just by himself collectively with his coaching students. I was projecting it at probably closer to 100 million in total. And that's just a lot of value that is being generated from this simple 7-step process that he's built out. So again, go follow Juan Nicasio, Mr.ACQ. He's going to give you some free game to get started, but follow him, follow his journey. Dude, brother, I want to see you keep on rising, keep on succeeding. I hope we continue to cross paths between mutual customers, and I appreciate you taking out the time to speak with us today.
You too, my man. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Appreciate it, brother.